Hello everyone and welcome to Night Talk. For the next 15 minutes or so, I'm going to be discussing everything you need to know and probably some things that you don't need to know about the Meaford Knights Junior A hockey team who compete in the Greater Metro Hockey League. And we're going to start off with Tuesday, January the 12th, the All-Star game played in Tottenham. Two members of the Meaford Knights were competing in that game. Team captain Ryan Hunter was there, as well as newcomer David Hooper. David just came over to Meaford from the Shelburne Sharks in a deal last week. David is a member of the Meaford Knights, but he was representing the Shelburne Sharks in that game. And in that game, they were both on the Canada team that played against a world team. So it was a group of Canadian All-Stars playing against players that, because the league is so, it's basically players from all over the world, you know. So they put together a team of the players from around the world. Canada came out on top in that game by a score of 7-2, and Ryan Hunter had a goal and an assist in that game. And speaking with the players about the experience, and they said they had a great time. It was really nice to be suited up with some of the better players, the best players in the league, actually. And they both had a great time, and they represented Meaford quite well. And so now we're going to take a look at Wednesday night. Now, Wednesday night was a really important game for Meaford. They had to take a 4-hour trip there, a 4-hour trip back, and about 2.5 to 3 hours in between to play the game in Coburn. Long drive for the boys, but the significance of that game on Wednesday night was the Thursday prior, Meaford had tied their franchise best for wins in a season at 18, and if they were to beat Coburn on Wednesday night, they would set the new team mark at 19 wins in the season. When the final buzzer went, Meaford had a 7-3 win, and they had the record. So, you know, long trip home, but it was probably a sweet one for the guys coming home with that victory. Again, you know, with the weather, and they probably didn't get in until very, very late. And then it wasn't maybe 12 or 15 hours later, they were expected to be on the ice to play their Grey County rivals, the Grey Highland Bravehearts. And these two teams have not too much alike for each other, let's put it that way. Grey Highlands plays out of Markdale. It's about a half-hour drive from Meaford, so every time these two teams play, you know, it's for a bit of pride here in Grey County. So we'll take a look at that game, and honestly, it was a really good game. I thought Grey Highlands came out and played one heck of a defensive game. Especially for the first two periods. Meaford really wasn't able to get much going, and there was only one goal in the first period. 10:27 mark, Daniel Bureau scored from Tyler Glaubitz and Milan Bongo. The only goal of the period to give Grey Highlands a 1-0 lead. Shots on goal, Grey Highlands 14, Meaford 10. Interesting point too, the two goalkeepers that started in net hadn't played a game all season in the GMHL. Jesse Martell started in goal for Meaford. He played for Meaford in year one, and he is the only goalie in Meaford history to record a shutout. So Jesse making his first start for Meaford in goal. He played really well. And Rio Virgo starting in goal for Grey Highlands. Absolutely no record on him as well, and he played a great game too. You know, both goalkeepers should be commended, and they actually were star 1 and star 2 at the end of the game. So really rough first period. There were 7 roughing penalties altogether. Meaford at one point had a 5-on-3 power play in that first period, but weren't able to capitalize on it. That came back to bite them at the end of this one. So, and you know, the players, some of them looked pretty tired out there, but you got to give Grey Highlands their due. They played an excellent defensive game, keeping Meaford to the outside. Meaford, you know, struggled to get through their defense, and you know, Grey Highlands played one heck of a game. So now we'll move on to the second period. Goals scored late in that period. 19:30 of the second period, it was the Bravehearts scoring again, and Owen Redhout scored his first goal as a member of the Grey Highlands Bravehearts, assisted by Jacob Spoon and Nathaniel Dodd. Ironically, two of those players, the first two that I mentioned, were members of the Meaford Knights at some point over the last couple of years. So Meaford connection coming back to maybe haunt them a little bit there. Not as many penalties in the second period. Two to each team. Grey Highlands picking up the first two there. And again, Meaford having a 5-on-3 power play and unable to capitalize on that one as well. So, so that 5-on-3 really unable to capitalize on that really hurt Meaford in the end. So we'll move to the third period now. Now this is where Meaford starts to get on track. Probably one of the prettiest goals I've seen. It was a short-handed goal scored by Mackenzie Fleming. There was a face-off to the left of the Bravehearts goalkeeper, Rio Virgo. Mackenzie Fleming wins the draw back to Brandon Bavis at the point. The Braveheart center did not take Mackenzie Fleming. He let him go. Fleming went right in front of the goalkeeper, turned his back to him. Brandon Bavis, a perfect shot right at the skates of Mackenzie Fleming. Fleming was able to tip the puck enough to put it in the net. Meaford with a short-handed goal. Now they have new life. It's 3-1. And, you can see a really different Meaford team for the next few shifts out there. That short-handed goal really gave them a lift. So then, 6 minutes later, at 8:55, Mackenzie Fleming scores his second of the game. And now it's a 3-2 game, a totally different game, totally new game now. So, and this was more of a working man's goal. This was just plain hard work. And surprised Justin Dewick didn't get an assist on this one, because he was hammering away at that puck in front of the net. Mackenzie Fleming was left alone at the right side, at the right post, and the puck squirted over to him, and he tapped it into the goal. Now it's a 3-2 game. So, but then Grey Highlands went back into their defensive shell again. I don't know if they were using a trap or not. Maybe the coach could give us a little insight on that one. I hate to think that they'd use a trap, but points, it did look like a trap. But anyway, they played it to a T. At 1944, Cole McPherson scores a power play goal from Charlie Hammerback and Skylar Robertson to close out the scoring and to give a 3-2, to seal the 3-2 win for the Grey Highlands squad. Brandon Bavis had taken a penalty late, but it was a hockey penalty, really. And, there wasn't much he could do on that play. It was a tripping call, and if he hadn't taken the man down, the man would have been in there. Brandon Bavis played a heck of a game for Meaford many times. He was the difference in poking pucks away in front of the net, physical presence. Bo Drover he was everywhere as usual. Like I said in the broadcast, when someone gets hit solid by Bo Drover, they head back to the bench and make sure they have all their appendages still attached, because I wouldn't want to be hit by that guy, because he can really throw them. So, and Justin Dewick as well was quite a physical presence out there for Meaford. Brennan Watson as well played really well for Meaford tonight. But in the end, the Bravehearts won that game, and deservedly so. They played really, really well last night. And the 3 stars of the game: Rio Virgo, goalkeeper for Grey Highlands with 29 saves, star number 1. Jesse Martell, 38 saves in net for Meaford, and he played a great game. Star number 2, star number 3, Mackenzie Fleming with the 2 goals for Meaford. And we're going to take a look at it. Meaford hasn't got many games left now in the season, but some very important games coming up. The next opponent for Meaford now is going to be this coming Sunday at 3 o'clock in Meaford against a very tough Alliston Coyotes team. First place Alliston in Meaford at 3 o'clock. Meaford will be ready for these guys, trust me. Meaford has drawn a lot of attention to themselves now. Everybody knows, the teams that are above them in the league right now know that Meaford comes to play, and they come to win. So, this is why you see in a lot of their goalkeepers getting run, and a lot of things going on right now that wouldn't happen if it was Meaford's last year's team, let's say, for example, who only won 8 games all season. So they definitely are a team to be reckoned with. Next Thursday night, it was a game scheduled against Grey County, but it is canceled because Grey County had folded. Then Meaford plays Orangeville on the 28th of January. and Rogers TV will be there for that one. Then they have a game in Bradford against the Rattlers on the 31st. And again, one of the teams that's above them in the standings, that very catchable if Meaford can string some wins together. And they'll close out the season with 2 games against the team that's only 1 point ahead of them in the standings right now, the Bradford Bulls. Another game against Colburn, this time at home, so they don't have to travel so far. And they'll close out the season on February the 12th against the same Grey Highlands Bravehearts that beat them last night, 3-2. The teams play each other 4 times in the season, teams from your division. And Meaford currently leads the season series with Grey Highlands by a count of 2-1. And, Meaford will be looking to try and close out the season by beating the Bravehearts on February the 12th. And we maybe take a look at the standings here now. Meaford in a real dogfight, positions 3 through 6. Nothing is settled there. Looking at the Bradford Rattlers right now are sitting in 3rd at 46 points. Oshawa River Kings sitting in 4th with 44 points. The Bradford Bulls, who the Meaford Knights get to play twice more before the end of the season, with 41 points. Meaford has 40 points. And right behind Meaford's Grey Highlands, they picked up 2 points last night. They're 32 points, only 8 behind Meaford. But Meaford, sitting in 6th right now, is only 6 points back of the Bradford Rattlers for 3rd. They're only 4 points back of Oshawa, and they're only 1 point back of Bradford. So ideally, Meaford would like to finish in 4th spot. It would give them home ice advantage in the playoffs, and likely a meeting. I think Coach Parrish had said that he'd probably like to meet Oshawa in that first round. So if we can finish in position 4, that would be great. They get the home ice advantage for the playoffs, and but that's looking 9 or 10 games down the road. So anyway, the next game, Meaford takes on Alliston Sunday at the Meaford St. Vincent Community Center. 3 o'clock puck drop. Make sure you're there. Support the boys. And that's going to be about it for my very first show on Night Talk. Certainly hope everyone enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing it for you. And again, if you have any questions for the players, please send an email to nighttalk1@gmail.com, or if there's a place where you can comment on the video at the bottom on Facebook or whatever, put your question in there, and I'll get the team officials to pass it on to me, or they can ask the player the question, get it back to me, and on next week's show, I'll have the answer for you. Okay, and I want to thank you all again for joining me, and again, I hope you enjoyed it, and take care, and we'll see you at the rink. Go Knights, go!